Russia's government-backed anti-gay policies have been condemned throughout the international community, but advertising for the Winter Games, it remains strong. Does that surprise you?
It actually does surprise me a little bit, but let's keep in mind that the real fury around this subject has really just started to truly gain steam, and more sentiment around Russia continues to kind of become more and more apparent. So with 6 months, just about 6 months to go, we could start to see that shift change here as we get closer to the actual games.
Ken, if you've purchased advertising time on NBC, what's the cost-benefit analysis look like right now? Is having your product seen by billions of people around the world worth the potential consumer backlash? Does association with the games have the potential to tarnish a company's brand?
It's a great question, and I think that that's probably where a lot of the brands and the advertisers are actually doing a lot of their homework. Does being an advertiser for the games do more harm than good? And in doing so, I think that they're having to do some very deep analysis along that. I would tell you right now that other Olympic Games have had similar type of scenarios, questions in China around human rights, and different scenarios that have come up, and overall I think they haven't really impacted the advertisers to any great degree. Again, if this continues to pick up steam, I do think you will see some advertisers drop off because they could feel it would be more of a negative than a positive.
If you're a sponsor who's decided to stick with the games despite the controversy, what's your strategy after the games are over? What type of reputation management is going to be needed to convince consumers that your sponsorship's about athletics and not about politics?
I think a lot of it goes into the actual message that they're delivering during the Olympics. The Olympic messaging is so focused around the athletes. I think many times companies can kind of sidetrack a lot of what's going on, and you're even seeing a lot of former Olympians coming out and saying that while you could disagree with the decisions of Russia and you could disagree with the policy, you don't impact the athletes.
What about NBC Universal then? How does the controversy leading up to the Sochi Games affect the company's bottom line?
Well, I'm sure they're worried about it. You know, they paid a lot to get it, and obviously they view it as a great chance to really have a profit center from it. So I'm sure when they're looking at this, they have to be extremely concerned, and I'm sure more than anybody else, they're hoping that the hysteria around it dies down as opposed to intensifies.
Well, a Bloomberg Business Week article this month said that a boycott of the Winter Games would likely benefit Russia's Olympic athletes and, in turn, Vladimir Putin's regime. Are Olympic boycotts good for foreign policy?
You know, they've proven in the past that they really don't have a great impact across the board and don't really serve the measure that everyone would like them to. And I do think that up to this point, Obama has seen unwilling to boycott the games. So I'm not sure that at this point it would really get the benefit that everybody would be hoping for.
Ken, at some point, though, and we have about 30 seconds left, at some point, what do you think is going to happen at the games? Are there going to be boycotts? Are there going to be protests? Is it going to be something like 1968 with the guys on the medal stand?
I think that that's a very good chance that you're going to see some definite displays of opportunity where people are going to look to kind of voice their opinion and displeasure for what has been impacted upon them.